Hello, hello. Nienke here from ninks.com. I'm here with the last minute video series. I just wanted to share with you the Dove of Hope class I did. And these are the 2 cards and then this little check or cash gift card holder that we did in our class. The designer series paper I used for this class was the Poinsettia Place designer series paper, and that is the A side and the B side. These are currently, I think, on special. Stampin' Up has the big closeout sale right now for the August to December mini catalog. Some items are up to 50% off, so there's great deals to be had there. This is our first card. As I said, you will get all your die cut pieces as well as your embossed pieces, and then I will die cut the little dove and have your piece of braided linen trim there. The little sprig I have already stamped and die cut, and I will show you how to do the coloring. This you will just get a little scrap paper. If you don't have the dies, you will have to go and fussy cut this piece. It's just not really possible to die cut and then stamp, because the Dove of Hope is not the see-through photopolymer, it is the cling rubber stamp. So it's the rubber stamps. You won't be able to see through that. So for the sake of the video, I have already stamped and die cut this just to make it quicker. So let me show you this. In the card classes, you get to do all of this, and I go through everything step-by-step instructions, and you get to do everything. So this is just a piece of real red cardstock for our base, and it was initially 11 by 4 1/4, and then I scored it at 5 1/2. Then I went ahead and put it through my trimmer and chopped off 3 1/4 inch of the front. I just chopped off with my trimmer, and we're going to use this piece. So your card base will end up looking like this. It will have your big piece at the bottom and then this little piece here. And we're going to adhere this over here to make it, give it some more interest after we have decorated everything. So I'm going to start with the inside. This is the piece of that cardstock, the Poinsettia Place, and you will find all the dimensions in a free downloadable PDF on my website. The link is down below this video. I never can get my measurements right while I'm recording, so it's best for me to just send you to the style sheet, the project sheet, and then everything can be correct in one place. So I'm centering this, keeping my 1/8 border all the way round. You can change, you can move your cardstock ever which way you like to get that correct, whichever way works best for you. So I'm starting with that. I think this is 5 1/2 by 4. Double check me on my measurements. And then I want to add a piece of Whisper White in here, but first I'm going to do all of my stamping so that I have that out of the way. This, my Stamp and Pierce mat. I love using my Stamp and Pierce mat for every time I stamp. It just gives the image so much more clarity. I'm going to use my basic gray Stampin' Spot, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. I love using my big Stampin' pads, but with Paper Pumpkin you get the little spots, and I like them for if you just don't have the color yet, or you want to do something a little bit different while stamping, and that's what I'm going to do now. This is for my inside. It's the sentiment for the From the For On To Us stamp set. that one I love to use for this Christmas, using basic gray. Wipe off my stamp, that will be the inside. And then for my sentiment, I'm going to use this For Unto Us, and it's also from the For Unto Us stamp set. Now I could just go in and stamp this, but you will see that these little swirly bits is not going, if I turn it this way around, is not going to fit on my sentiment card. Now that's fine if you stamp over it, it doesn't make any difference. I just decided that I'm not going to ink up these little swirly bits and then stamp. And once again, this is a rubber stamp, so it's not clear, and I'm doing this with a camera in front of me, so I'm going to try and get that centered there. But if not, then that's fine. It's handmade, right? Now, the Stampin' Spot makes it easy to not ink up that. You can also use a post-it note. Stick a little post-it note there, a little post-it note there, and you can just go to town with your ink. There's a little fluff. Get that off. I don't mind. I use the little corner and just ink up the part because I have the Stampin' Spot and it works well with it. When you're new to stamping or you just start, you just learn whatever works for you and you get all of these tricks. So now you'll see my ink stops there and my ink stops there. So that means no matter where I stamp on my sentiment card, there won't be any ink on the rest of that swirls. And I make sure that I have everything else inked up nicely. And I'm going to try and get this right. Let me move it a bit closer to me because this is a really tiny sentiment card. And we want the For Unto Us in, and we want the Born in, and then we're just going to go for it. You just eyeball it and look at that. So now it stops there and it stops there, and if this just went on, it wouldn't have mattered either, but that's just me. So there we go, it's the inside done and it's our sentiment done. And then of course you would stamp on your little scrap piece, you will stamp your sprig that we're going to use. This was also stamped in the basic gray. When it dries, it lightens up. So this is the new stamp that I just did that's a little bit wet, and this is one that I did earlier that's already nice and dry. While we're busy with this, I can show you the coloring. I'm going to use Old Olive. Stampin' Blends come in a pack of 2, light and dark. And I'm just going to do a quick coloring here, and then I won't show the coloring again with the following cards, because then we've done that already. The following cards in the series. So with your light, very easily, you're just going to color the whole leaf. Now we're going to do some shading. Just going to bring in the dark, and I'm going to have mine like this. There's now all of different things you can take into account, the angle that your light comes from, or there's a lot of things. If you're not really good on coloring or shading, you just do the bottom part like this, and where it's at the bottom is going to be darker and the top is going to be lighter. And I just imagine always the sun shining from one area and what will be in shade and what will not be, and then you just take your light. The blends are so nice, they just blend in completely. With your normal markers you will get all of these lines, but if you take your blends and just go over those again, all of those lines will disappear. Now I need to remember that these are alcohol based markers, so they will need some time for that alcohol to evaporate, but the minute that's happened, all of the little lines will disappear. If you're not happy with the lines, or you feel like there's some more, after a minute or two, you just need to give it some time to sit, then you can just go over it again. But most of the time, 1-2 layers will do the trick. I'm going to color my little berries, even though I'm going to add the wonderful gems. So I'm going to use the Real Red again, the light and the dark. These berries are so tiny, I'm not going to worry about it. If you wanted to do some dimension, I'll do one. You would take one berry, color it in the light, like so, and then just do the outline in dark. So you would go just at the bottom and do a little outline, and then this part here at the top you will leave, and that will give it a little bit of a highlight and will give it a more of a three-dimensional effect. But seeing as I'm going to cover this in my wonderful gems and they're not going to show anyway, I'm just going to do that with my dark real red. And that is our coloring done. Coloring done, stamping done, so we can go ahead with putting our card together. Now we want this white to be a border for what we do at the top. So I have found that it's easier to sort of adhere the white first and then but then like eyeball this one to be in the center. What you can also do is we can do this one first and then sort of, you know, align this one. But I'm doing it this way around. Use my seal for this. You can use your liquid glue or any glue that you have, it doesn't matter. The seal is a nice strong glue as well as the liquid glue. I like the liquid glue when I need to still, you know, move things around. This one, just to do a nice border all the way around, is, I'm all practiced with that. I'm going to add, this is also a little piece of the same sweet Poinsettia Place. If you have a directional paper, remember to check that. This one doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go with that. And then I don't know if I've mentioned the Valentine's card class that will be coming up in January. So if you're interested in registering for the Valentine's Day class, it will be wise to do that now while there's still space. Now we're going to add this one, and it's here where you now want to check this white border and this area here. And again, what I do is I put my hands where I don't want glue, because otherwise I just forget which side is which. I'm going to use liquid glue because it's easier for me to glue with the liquid glue when I only have one hand than the seal. But it's, you can do whatever you wish. So I have that aligned then with the white, and then I can just press this down, and if everything is cut correctly, then this should line up as well, and it does. Here we go. Now I'm going to use this little piece of old olive, which I've already embossed with the, I keep on saying wonderful forest, but it's not wonderful forest. It's the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. That's the one. Let me quickly take it out of here. And it looks like that. So you will use your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. What I did is I lined up the cardstock with this little line there, and then I think I just put in the little tip of the tree. Yeah. And then I ran it through my machine. You can use whichever part of the folder you like. Then I ran it through my cut and emboss machine. The reason I don't do that on camera is the machine is big and it gets in the way, it shakes the table. I do all of this beforehand, but I show you all of this in the card classes. When you join me, you get to use all the equipment and do all of this yourself. Now with our social distancing, it's way more difficult. But that's why I put the kits together, so that you can pre-order the kit and then you can do your class with me. I also offer them online. When you register, you get the link. going to center this with the red. And there, I'm extremely excited about our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine that's now available for demonstrators. So when I get that little guy, I will be sure to have it in the camera, because he's like half the size of his big brother. So that will be nice. So we have our old olive embossing here. I love the embossing. It gives so much texture to your project. Now we're going to put together our little dove. This dove is from the Detailed Dove dies. I used soft suede for the back of his wing and his tail, because soft suede is one of the colors in the suite, the Designer Series paper suite, and that gives it a good accent. Start just by doing this. I'm going to put the glue on the back side of the die cut piece here. If you remember one of my previous videos, I made the angel's wings using these little dove cutouts. I only put a little piece of glue right there, because if this is loose, it gives it more dimension. And you can put this flat, or you can offset it. I'm offsetting it a little bit so that it gives the impression or the illusion like that might be the other wing, you know, the wing at the back, or it just gives it a shadow, which adds to your 3D effect. If you stick this down, you lose all of this nice dimension there. So I just stick that. You don't need to, it will be covered in the envelope anyway, so it shouldn't bend over. And we're going to do the same with the little tail. Now the tail I'm going to line up, and I'm only going to put glue on that little teeny tiny piece there. We're going to adhere that there, and that I'm going to do flush. You can offset that too. With your card you can do whatever you like. And now I'm going to position this on my card like so, with the corner of the dove there. I'm not going to put glue on that. I'm first going to glue the wing to the dove, just trying to get an idea of where I want it. So I want the dove's head to be on the green, and I want that to be in the corner there. So I'm only going to put glue on this little edge for now, and then we will glue it to the cardstock just now. Make sure my dove looks right and its wings is in the right spot and everything is aligned with that, and that looks good. And now I can go ahead and add glue to the entire dove so that we can stick him on where he needs to be. We want that there, we want that there, and we want his little head there. He's flying across the forest, spreading the news. Okay, now I want to show you other little thing here. I'm going to put that there, but now we have this little tail showing here. So you grab your snips if you can find them. Yay, we found them, and just snip the little tail off there. We don't need that. And we're going to add this. I want this little leaf sticking out here and that there. So once again, I'm just putting glue. You don't even have to color those two little berries. They're going to be hidden underneath here. I'm going to stick that to the sprig, to the sentiment, like so. Let's have some little bit more of the leaves showing here because they're pretty. And now I'm going to pop all of this up on dimensional so that we can have that extra dimension that we're looking for there. Adds interest. Makes things not look flat. I always have my dimensionals to the one side, and now I'm putting them up here, looking for them at the wrong spot. One there. Do we need? I think we can do. That'll be fine. You can put another one there if you want. You can also put a little. Maybe we should put a little sliver over here. A little sliver over there, and while you know what, while we're busy, I know I'm probably going overboard with the dimensionals. I like them. I like them. My paper piercer. No, it's not. It's a take your pick tool. You know what? I might get that right someday, or I might not. It's the paper pierce point on the stamp. The take your pick tool. There we go. Got it. And now my dimensional is stuck to my finger. Do I have my sentiment the right way around? Thank goodness I do. We're going to align that there, stick that down, and I have a little bow. I won't, should I attempt tying a bow on camera? Okay, there's my backup. Let's see. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, so we have our braided linen trim in real red, and we're going to make a little loop, pop it around, stick through our little wing and whoops, little ear, and pull tight. There we have a basic bow, and now we're just going to finesse. Can you believe that? It worked. There we go. Where is that piece? There we go. Have your two little bunny ear loops, the same length. Looks good. And then we just want our ends to be the same. You can fiddle with this if you want. And we're going to use a glue dot for this. Pick which side you want. They both look good. Stick your bow into your glue dot, pinch. You can also always finesse here if you want. You can grab it with your finger or with your take your pick tool. They work great. It works great for that. And then we don't want to cover our sentiment, but we want a little red bow there. Stick that down, and then we obviously need some gems, right? My wonderful gems. I don't think I used another one, another pack of gems this whole holiday season. I think I just went with this. So let's do a big one. I'm going to put a big one right here, and then I will put a little one on this side and a little one on the other side. You can put 3 big ones too. We can actually put 2 big. Let's put another big one because it's almost Christmas, right? And we're almost done. You can do 3 big ones too. I'm going to put a little one and 2 big ones. You do whatever you want, and that is our first card. So I'll see you again soon with the next one. Bye bye.